This is it, episode 568, No Laugh Track podcast here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My name is Justin Severson. I get to host this each and every week with headliners here working at Acme, including this week, a guy who I talked to in 2017.
Wow.
And not at all since then. I know you've been back, Robert Kelly, but I had a poorly planned vacation one of the weeks you were back, and
Right.
We didn't do a podcast. Let me apologize to you in person. I'm sure you would have sold one more ticket if I was here. We did a podcast that week, so I apologize.
I feel like this is like, I forget the setup last time, but this is more like the end of Billy Madison when I'm being tested.
Yeah.
I feel very like you have notes in front of you, you have a pen in your hand.
Oh yeah. Where's my red one to do all the corrections?
I feel
Shit.
very I don't know, dude. I feel like you're over there, I'm over here.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Are you having flashbacks to like high school or middle school or anything?
Well,
Like,
I mean,
the teacher's about to walk in and
yeah, I
throw
feel
your paper down with a D+ on it.
yeah, this is very much like detention. You know what I mean?
You're welcome to leave. Please
It's-
don't.
It's
There's no bell. You can go whenever you want.
I feel like this is me and some white dude who's about to tell me how much I suck and how much I'm never going to make it in life. You know what I mean? I'm having flashbacks. Just an empty room. This is my fear too. This right here. You know, I was, you know, this is always, I mean, this club, you know, a long time ago, I made a decision I only want to play places I like. And I understand clubs too. You know, clubs, they go, you know, they have to book, you know. I'm sure clubs would love to book. Back in the day, there was not that many comedians. Now there's so many comics that are doing great and blah, blah, blah. So clubs have to, you really can't go back to a club every 6 months or even sometimes once a year.
Right.
But a long time ago, I decided I only want to work clubs I like. I do not want to, if I don't have a good time there, if it's not a good vibe, if I don't feel good there, it's not worth it to me. I'll just stay home.
Yeah.
I have a family now. I have a wife and a son, and I love my life. So when this club does come up, it's like it's like, oh, great. It's almost like you have that good feeling like you're going on vacation, but to work. You know what I mean? There's
That's
a
awesome.
Side Splitters is like that. Comedy Connection, Rhode Island. There's, Laugh Bar. There's certain clubs that I work, and I'm just like, let's go. You know what I mean?
Love it.
I loved looking forward to going to somewhere.
How many weeks do you leave the house to do shows like in 2024 versus, let's say, 10 years ago?
Well, 10 years ago, I'd work as much as I could.
Nonstop if you could, right?
I would go anywhere and do shows and just, yeah. Now I work from September to April, and then I slow it down. And July and August, I don't work. I go away. I have a little tiny house up in New Hampshire that I go up to with the family. It's different now because I have the bonfire, so I have to go
Yeah.
back Sunday nights and come back Wednesday nights. But it's fine. I mean, I love doing the bonfire, so it's not a big deal. It's hard. It's a grind a little bit to drive back and forth from New Hampshire to New York, but it's fine.
I've seen you mention this tiny house in New Hampshire. Tell me more about that. What do you, like literally a tiny house?
Well, yeah, it's a tiny house. Let me tell you about it. It's small. Yeah, dude, look, I get shit from my tiny house.
This is like Tiny House, like the TV show.
Yes,
Tiny House.
yes. It's not that tiny, though. I didn't get like I didn't get a little tiny thing where me and my wife and my 11-year-old are just sleeping in a corner of lighting a stove. You know what I mean? Where we shit in the woods.
Okay.
With an outdoor shower. I'm not a hippie, My wife, I married a Polak from Everett, Massachusetts. You know what I mean?
We're out of sawdust. No more shitting.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. No, I've been going up to New Hampshire. My three uncles bought land up on Little Squam Lake, which is the lake regions of New Hampshire, just before the White Mountains. It's kind of right in it, and it's beautiful. It's the lake that On Golden Pond was filmed on, right?
Wow.
So, I've been going up there, and I've been staying at my uncle's house. And he slowly built this kind of compound. He's like a member of this association, right?
Sure.
And me and my wife were going up there. And then they built like the guest cabin, and we would stay in there. And then my son was born. We would stay there with my son. And we go up there for, 5 days, 6 days, 10 days in the summer, usually in August. And we go up there in the, during the year, but maybe once or twice a year, but definitely in the summer for a week or more. And I've been a guest my whole life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where it's like, hey, can we come out? And look, my family's awesome. I got a huge Irish Catholic family. And my uncle and my aunt was awesome. But it was just like, I didn't want my son to be a guest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't want my son to have to, hey, can we stay an extra day? I just wanted my family to have, you know what I mean? I always felt, kind of comfortable, but just, and I was like, we're staying in this cabin anyways.
Yeah.
And then I looked up this tiny homes of Maine company, and I started talking to the guy and his wife, and we drove up there, and it was like a 9-hour, 10-hour drive to the up above Bangor, and we met these people, and they were living in this they make tiny homes, but they're awesome. It's like they're insulated from Maine winters, and they have, heat and bathroom and kitchen and shower and, living room. And, it's just, and it's on this axle. And we were talking to him, and, I was like, we were leaving, and I'm like, okay. And then I was like, well, what about, they were building a house on their land. They have like 68 acres of old Christmas tree farmland that they bought.
Yeah.
And they were living in this tiny house that they made. They made it for a company that didn't want it, so they kind of got it back, and they were living in it, building their house. I'm like, what are you doing with this one? And they're like, we'll sell it. So I literally bought their house.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, if you're going to live in it with 3 kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's good for me. And they sold it to me. They're awesome. And then I went right down to New Hampshire and bought land on my uncle's street. I bought like 3 acres with 500 acres behind me of forest. And I went there that day, bought it off this guy, Barry, who is like a really good friend of mine now. And I told him what I was doing, and he's a contractor, so he did all the work for me. And I was like, I don't want this on the street. I want it in the woods.
Nice.
I want it facing the woods. I want the back of the house facing the street. And we did all this work. And the problem with that is that when anybody who's ever done anything like this, you're like, can we do this? They're like, yeah. I want to do this. Okay. All right, how about this? Sure.
And then it ends up costing.
Well, you forgot to go, how much?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I didn't ever go, how much? I just was like, cool.
Oh, they'll say yes.
Oh, they say yes to everything.
Yeah, we'll make that happen. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then he gave me the first bill, and I'm not kidding, I went down on a knee. I was like, I'm going to have to, like, sell this house. Like, I don't know if I, you know what I mean?
You're renting it out as an Airbnb when you're not there, right?
Well, I mean, almost, dude. That first bill made my knees wobble. But he was so cool. He's like, listen, just, we'll work it out. He was awesome. He's like the best. But he's definitely in New Hampshire. He's like woods. Like, there was one problem we had because my wife was like, I'm not shitting. I'm not doing a compost toilet.
My wife would say the same thing.
Yeah, I'm not shitting into a thing that we take a bag and then grow tomatoes. It's not happening. I'll go buy tomatoes.
Yeah, the sawdust.
Yeah. So I had to get a septic. I had to get a well.
Damn.
Blah, 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 all this shit. So
Yeah.
it is a legitimate house.
That's an investment right there.
It's 4 seasons. We can go up there in the winter now. And
Look at that.
But
Someday
it's small.
your son will be going up there with his buddies and having parties without you. You know that, right?
100%. And that's what I want.
Awesome.
I used to, listen, my uncle, when they first bought the land, we used to camp on it.
Yeah.
And then he got a pop-up trailer. And I used to bring chicks up there. That was my move.
Bam.
Like I used to be like, hey, I want to go up to my family's land. I called it my family's land, like I was the Clampetts. You know what I mean? Like, and
They're expecting a pool.
Oh, it was frightening. You could see the fear in their eyes. It was just a pop-up trailer, and I would be like, welcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Where's your house?
Oh, it was crazy. They finally built a house, and that's when I really stepped up my game because I could bring a girl, but I would bring girls up there all the time. And I remember I brought a girl. I don't know how. Can we be dirty on this?
Go for it.
I brought a girl up there once, beautiful girl. We got all the way up there. We lit a fire. It was really romantic and nice. And then, we started getting a little frisky. And she's like, I got to stop you before we were about to get naked. She had her bra on. She's like, I want to stop. I go, what? I'm like, look, if you tell me you have a penis, don't worry about it. No, I'm kidding. We're good.
I knew that's where this was going.
No, but she I wasn't that lucky. She goes, I have really large nipples. I was like, what? Because I'm like, all right. Like, I don't know what that means. Like, what? Like, big and round? No, not the areola. The nipple is long. I have long nipples. Then she used the word long, and that kind of was like, I was kind of like, what? And then I was like, I don't care about.
I've seen these, by the way.
I don't care. She's like, okay. And she took her bra off, and they literally unfolded. They unfolded.
Stop.
And like just came out like light switches. And I was just like in awe. I was freaked out for a minute, but then I was like, shit. Now I have a thing. You gave me a thing. Now I have a thing that I like. Yeah, I didn't know I had this thing. And it was weird, but eventually we got the place, we got the house. Here's the thing that happened is that we didn't buy the road is on so at a certain point it becomes the association where my uncle lives, and then they have right down on the whole road. You go down it, goes right to the lake, beautiful meadow, basketball courts, boat moorings, boat launch, beach, sandy beach that goes into a swimming like the perfect, because I don't like mushy lake stuff. I like sand and it is and I've been going there for 30 years. But we were on the town road, not in the association. I didn't buy in the association.
Uh-oh.
So we couldn't go. We had to go to the public beach, the town beach, 8 minutes away. But we're right there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, so I had to still ask my uncle, which was sucky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I remember I left my kayaks there. He's like, you can't leave your kayak. And I'm like, fuck. Okay. And then one day he's like, listen, you guys.
Just tell people they're mine.
Well, no, he wouldn't even do that. He wouldn't do that. My uncle's very strict. Okay. He's on the board of the, all that shit.
Well, you didn't say that he's on the board.
So I remember one day he goes, yeah, you guys are on the town road. We call you guys Townies. And it made me mad.
Yeah, I bet.
And I went home. I'm like, we're buying land. I go, I don't care how much it costs. I don't care if we have to sell our house. We're buying. And I wound up buying. I found a thing of land. These people were selling the land. They were moving. I went up. I was like, listen, I want to buy your land. And they were like, well, it's already on the market. It was way too much money. And I said, listen, if you don't sell it, call me. Because they had a house on the town road and land in the association, which was I wanted to do.
Yeah, okay.
I go, I want to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
But they were trying to sell both of them. It wasn't going to happen. I go, please, if you don't do that and there's land still available, sell it to me. Anyway, 6 months goes by. They call me. And I'm like we're selling the land separate. And they gave me such a deal. They were such a great couple. They just wanted to go to Florida and get the fuck. So I bought the land. So now I have two pieces. I have in the association that I'll probably never build on. I'll just keep it there. And then beautiful land on the town. And I had shirts made the first day that year down at the lake.
Uh-huh.
Townies Plus. And I got shirts for my son, my wife, and me. And we went down there. I put my kayaks where I want, right on the thing. And we were sitting there, and I had Townies Plus. Just to let you fucking rich son of a bitches know, Townies are in town, baby.
Congratulations, sir. That's great.
Very, very, very big. So.
Oh my God, that is fantastic. I want to bring up something about you mentioned doing the bonfire now.
Yep.
So good. The transition from Dan to you.
Yeah.
Seamless. So good.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was a little. I know it was shocking for fans because it's the bonfire is Dan and Big J. I mean, they built that show and evolved into what it was. But, it wasn't. And I even tried to say, Dan, stay, dude. You guys are great. This is great. And I know radio. I've been doing O&A.
Yeah.
I know radio I know Mike Calta. I've known radio for years. I've known great radio shows, and their show was great, and it was so great. But he was just done with it. He was done with it years before.
How many people have, since you've got the job, how many people have told you, oh, yeah, I knew Dan was leaving for like a year? Because he was here at the club.
Yeah.
And told Brandon and I, yeah, I'm leaving in like next January or whatever. And we're like, well, does Jay know? No, Jay doesn't know. He told us two idiots, though.
I didn't know. Well, here's the thing. I was in Just for Laughs, and Jay was like, me and Jay were doing the Nasty Show together.
Yeah.
And we're just hanging for 2 weeks. And he was like, we're having such a great time up there, just, bonding. And he was like, hey, would you ever do radio with me? Would you ever do like a radio show with me? I was like, dude, I'll do anything with you. You know what I mean? Because Jay's easy. He's just talk about anything. He can talk about anything, and that's what I love. And I was like, I'll do anything with you, dude. And he was like, all right. And then he came back to me. He goes, what about doing the bonfire with me? I was like, I was like, listen, man, I'm not stepping on toes. Dan's my baby boy.
Yeah.
Dan's like, my son. I have certain sons, you know what I mean? In this, I brought, Joe, Lewis, Dan, Stavros. There's certain kids that I went back and went, when I was with Opie and Anthony and Tough Crowd and doing my thing and Tourgasm and stuff like that, I was like, you guys, let's go. I want to hang with you guys. So I was hanging with my generation, but I was also always looking back. Because Joe DeRosa, these guys, Big J was a guy. I took on the road, kind of what we do as comics, right? So I didn't want to step on any toes with that. But I talked to Dan, and he's like, brother, I'm out. It's happening. So this all kind of happened behind. I just let it go because I was like, look, it's not. In my brain, they're going to work it out. They're going to find a way. And it didn't dude, it happened like that. Like fast.
Okay.
Like it was like, Dan's out. You're in. And then I was like, okay, to do this, I can't do I have to take me out of comedy, to take me out of other things, to actually get a what they call golden handcuffs.
Right.
Is what, radio is. This is what I need. Because I don't want to be here and resent it.
Right.
I don't want to ever be like, what I do. And Jay was like, yep. It was a little back and forth a little bit. I was like, he's like, all right, fuck it. Cool, let's go. And Sirius was cool with it. And, the fans were cool with it. A lot of them were fucking hurt and bummed. And I took a lot of that. Dan took a lot of it. Jay got none of it. You know what I mean? Jay got none of it, that lucky motherfucker. I got a lot of shit, but I embraced it. They called me Not Dan.
I've seen that.
Which I got a bracelet. I got a bracelet on right now that says "Not Dan" from one of the fans
I'm
that
familiar.
I keep on here. And and I knew I was gonna get blah, 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 because people can't let something they love so much. They don't want to let it go.
Sure.
They don't want it to evolve. They want it to stay, and I get that. And I don't take it personal. But there's a lot of people that come up to me now and like, dude, the new show, because it's new. It's not two potheads watching a video and fucking being, that. It's, I'm edgy. I'm from Boston. I don't do drugs. I'm clean. I'm straight. But I'm also married and I love my family. So it's a different dynamic.
It is, yeah.
But we still have a lot of fucking crazy fun. And it's a little different. And, but we finally found our rhythm. Don't forget, it took them 8 years. They found their shit after, a long time.
It was on a while, yeah.
It was on a long time, dude. So by the end of it, they were in their thing. You can't, I'm not going to just jump into something that was old.
Right.
And it took a little bit, and it's still evolving now. But I got to jump in with a team. Lou and DJ Lou and Jacob and Christine. My co-host's chick is the producer. I'm jumping into something. So But now we got the vibe. We got it, and I love the crew. We just did Skankfest.
Yeah.
And me
I
and
listened to, what is it, a $25 pyramid?
yeah, dude, me and Jacob came up with that idea because they always do. I didn't know that either. I had to step into that role where it's like, Dan would write these things with Jacob, and then people would fold, Lou would fold in. Then we'd get DJ Lou to jump in with his, and then we'd bring it to Jay, and Jay would, really just knows how to punch everything up and cut the fat off and, all that shit. So it's like this process that I had to jump in. I was like, oh, shit. But, yeah, the $2,500 pyramid is great. It's one of my favorite things because Jacob just turns into Jake.
Yeah.
And I get
Mr.
to just
Personality.
I get to sit back and let it happen, and it's live.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Bonfire fans, because I have so many different fan bases, dude.
You're talking nonstop, man. Like between the Bonfire,
Yep.
during the week,
Yep.
podcasts,
Yep.
three podcasts, right?
I do. I have YKWd, and then we have the Regs, which is basically YKWd.
Right.
Is what what dude started as.
Yes.
It was me and DeRosa, and then it turned to me, Joe, Lewis, and Dan for years. That was it. Before any of it.
Yeah.
Before Skanks. I mean, Skanks is kind of from that,
Mm-hmm.
and because I never wanted to go full fucking scum. You know what I mean? It wasn't my thing, But they do it so perfectly. And then
Bone to pick?
Bone to pick with Verzi. That was the thing. Here's the thing is I'm doing, plus don't forget Opie and Anthony and all that shit was going on back then. So I was doing a lot of radio, but when we started doing I was doing YKWd, and then I knew the Regs was, basically YKWd, but with the regulars, which is just a different thing. But then I was like, dude, I want to do something that, look, man, I got the edgy shit, right? We talk about anything, right? No rules, no all that bullshit, right? I got it. I've done that on every aspect. And then I just wanted to do a fun podcast that a mom could listen to. I wanted girls to be able to like my shit. I wanted like families.
Sure.
I wanted couples to, along with the fucking dredges, who love me, I wanted a podcast we go on and everybody could be kind of into it.
Yep.
And it just not be so fucking heavy. And I don't want to have to talk about bullshit. Like I don't want politics and all that shit. I just wanted a fun thing. And me and Verzi, every time we talked on the phone, I'd be like, we'd be like, dude, I got a fucking bone to pick with you. And he'd be like, ah, shit. Because he would do something or say something.
Mm-hmm.
It's just our relationship. And we'd have these bones. I'd be like, I got a bone to pick with you, you fuck. And he'd be like, what? I'd be like, dude, let me tell you something. When I call you, right? And it goes bing, bing, right to, I know you pushed a button. I know how phones work. It's not 2003. I know you ain't not now.
He'll probably think I'm sleeping or busy.
Right. I know you hit it. You know what I mean?
You're right.
And we were trying to work together for so long. We just could. I was like, I can't do another podcast where we just talk. And I was like, this is it, dude. This is it.
It's such a great premise for a podcast.
It's insane. And here's what happened with it. This is why I know it's a great podcast. The fans took it over. Because the fan aspect of it was not part of it.
Oh, okay.
It was me and him doing bones. 1 or 2 bones each. And all of a sudden, a fan sent in a bone. Then we put the email out there. We got 1,000 bones in like a week.
Love it.
And then somebody threw in a video bone. They sent a video of them right out of some frustrating, I think it was actually a dude I know. He was at a parking lot and it was empty. And somebody parked right next to his car. And he's got the thing and he's this Italian guy. He's like, I got a fucking bone. And he just points to the car. Why? And then he goes to the empty parking lot. Why? I was like, oh my God. So that is taken over. Now video bones are nuts. The last one we had, the girl actually edited it. Made like this edited video that was just amazing. Like, holy shit. And
Dedicated fan, huh?
yeah, we had one girl, this is a big girl, and she, sweet girl. She had a really deep voice, and she goes, "I got a bone." And we just started. We fell off the chairs. She goes, "I hate when someone asks me if I'm trans." We just fell. You know what I mean? And look,
Were you waiting for the answer?
Well, she was just like, "I get it, but it's just, I mean, it's such a fun, quick, fast show that everybody's involved with. So, all the things I do, I'm kind of enjoying,
How it's funny. So I listened back to when we did this in 2017.
Yeah.
And something like this kind of came up back then, and it just happened to me again. And it's my bone to pick with people.
What's that?
I'm going to bring it up again. When guys have their phone out at the urinal.
Yeah, that's weird. That's well.
Now, let's say you're standing next to me. I'm minding my own business. And
Yeah.
You have your phone out. Now, I don't know if you're filming me. I don't know. Maybe you're doing it because you're nervous and you're going to think that this is going to keep your eyes busy. I don't fucking know, but why?
Well, I used to actually have a joke about that. It's like, they still treat men with like farm animals. You know what I mean? We're just walking up to a moo, and we're just sitting there pissing into this thing like cattle.
Yes.
Where women have these beautiful stalls with a door, and they get to, sit down.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's not to stand and pee it's like you're not. I don't know where that came from. Sitting to pee is wonderful. I don't understand. You can get on your phone. You have privacy. It's just stupid to me. And then we're up there, and there's nothing. It's just a tile. So I'm sitting next to you. You're peeing, and now I hear your pee flow, and I'm like, wow. Like, what is that? Like, I want to look so bad so many times, just what makes that sound.
Well, I mean, now I can relate to that. I mean,
You know what I mean? But I have to stand there and stare at this tile and just fight my desire to just see what do you got going. You know what I mean? What do you got? And just be like, wow. You know what I mean?
hell of a hose, sir.
Yeah. So it's almost I get it, but there is I feel like he's fighting his urges. He's taking his mind off of how uncomfortable.
I think that's what it is.
We should not pee next shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of other guys waiting. It's stupid. It's nuts.
It is.
And we're sitting there. So, they should put something in front. All you have to do is little iPads, something in front of us, like the gas station screen that just changes.
Right?
We don't have to touch it. It just goes from commercial to commercial.
I mean, along those lines, they could update those and have it not do the cycle through the same video every 20 seconds.
They could put ads. I'll watch an ad while I piss
Yeah.
instead of fighting the desire to look at some guy's mule because it sounds like a fire hose,
What does he have, 2 holes in that thing?
Yeah, so I get it, but he's probably just trying to take away his nerves
I think so.
of wanting to look at your stamenkia. You know what I mean?
I need to read you the description of the episode we did back in 2017. Like the one that showed up like on Spotify.
Sure,
when you
yeah,
look
yeah.
up the episode.
Go ahead.
It was April 28, 2017. And this is back when Brandon wasn't helping us back then. It was, who would have been helping us? Yeah, Eric. So this was Eric's writing, Eric Foster. He doesn't work here anymore. It says, this is one of our most exciting episodes of all time. Listen to it. You will not be disappointed. Notes. Listen carefully around the 10-minute mark when Robert burns Justin with the power of 1,000 suns.
What did I do?
You said that I looked...
I knew this was a test. I knew it was a fucking test.
This is to shame you now. I want you to feel bad about this 9 years later. I've been quoting you incorrectly for 7 years. I thought you said I look like Ron Howard with cancer.
Yes.
But it was actually Ron Howard with AIDS.
Which is a better line. I mean, you don't look, cancer is not a funny word. AIDS just comes off the tongue funnier.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
It's just a funnier word.
I should have known you were better than that.
Yeah.
Also, and then there was a second burn later in the episode where you...
I mean, I still go with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you.
I still...
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
How about we do this? Let's change it.
Oh, boy.
Let's change it. You look like a woman with cancer that transitioned to a man. Is that better? Well, let's update
I don't
it.
know if that jives with you. Also described me as a 13-year-old skateboarder from the neck down.
Yeah, I mean that hasn't changed.
And if
I would say I would change that. I would just add a little change to that.
No.
Failed.
that's
Like
accurate.
like you work in a skateboard shop now. You're not sponsored anymore. From the neck down. How about this? You look like an unsponsored skateboarder from the neck down. And from the neck up, you look like somebody who got a lot of vaccinations and still wears a mask by himself in his car. Okay. Burn number 3.
I'll have you know. I don't wear a mask anymore.
I don't wear a mask anymore. Oh, shit.
Why would you say that? Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that very much, sir. But also in 2017,
You know what she
when we
look
did
like?
this-
You know what she look like?
No.
I'll give you a
You got
compliment.
another one?
I'll get a compliment.
Oh, here we go.
You look a little bit. Yeah, you don't. I fucked up.
There was something you were going to?
Yeah, I was gonna say Gary Oldman,
Oh.
but now.
Eee.
I mean, I didn't mean it as a diss. I mean, you look like an English actor. How's that?
Okay.
You look like you're an English thespian
Oh.
or an American lesbian.
Or something else that rhymes with that.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything else.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
What's up, buddy?
Now I'm going to change the subject here. More talk
Okay.
about you, sir. Special, recording a special. Is that anything that's happening soon? It's been several years.
Dude, it's so, I've been doing so many podcasts right now and the bonfire. I used to go to the clubs every night, even when I had a kid. I lived in the city. I'd go down and do spots, I think I would take Sunday off, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, on the road, Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday, come back. But I would do spots. And if I wasn't on the road, I would be at the Cellar doing, 5 to 7 shows a night, Friday and Saturday night. And I write on stage. I don't sit down with a notebook and come up with, oh, that's interesting. I'm not a topical writer. I don't open a newspaper and go, what's funny today? Not that there's anything wrong with that, too. I think, there's certain guys that are insane with that.
Yeah.
But since I've been, Bonfire, all the other podcasts, it's been hard for me this year to come up with, jokes. And another thing that's happened, too, is that I love my life. I've actually... my thing was I will become rich and famous and successful and then have a life. When I make it, when I make it, then I get to enjoy it, right? And it got to the point a few years ago where I was like, oh, I made it a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just other people's perspective of it is, Emmys and millions and fame. You know what I mean? I made it. I found a woman that I love. I had a kid who I adore. I have a home. I have a couple cars. I work what I love for a living. Everything I do, I is chosen and it's creative and I love it. And I was like, oh, I started enjoying my life. So what happens when that happens? When you start to enjoy your life, and you become happy, and happiness is kind of can transition you into another stage of comedy, but it also can kill funny, right?
Sure.
Especially my type of funny. And I found it hard in the last couple years to, to write. It's just so
Interesting.
what happens now. What's happening now is that I have to. I have to go back to the clubs. I have to go back and work and do the open mics again, and go back to Wednesdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays at the Cellar, and take some time off from the road a little bit and work the clubs in the city and do 5 or 6 shows a night. Because I would come in with a premise or something that happened, and by the end of this, the 5th show on Friday, I'd have a bit. Saturday, it would be completed.
Yeah.
And I would do that every week. So I have to adjust things to come up with the next hour and figure out where I'm at in life, because I'm really enjoying everything right now. What am I gonna? Life is good, huh? I mean, who the fuck's gonna laugh? You know what I mean? So I'm kind of assessing that now. But the last couple of years, though, I've been working on a thing with Leary. So I'm writing this script with him.
You just recorded something or did something last week or so?
Yeah, for 3 years I'm with my partner Brendan Daly. We were writing, coming up with this show Comedy Camp, and people think that you write something and then you get the money for it, and then you go and you film it, and then somebody buys it. It takes years to write a show. It takes years to get people interested in it. It takes years to have it be filmed. And that's not even a guarantee. These things are, long time. So that's been happening too. And you're talking Zoom meetings. You talk, hours long. You're talking writing sessions, hours long, day after day. And for the last couple of years, 3 years, I've been working on Comedy Camp. And the last 2 years, I've been working on this other thing, plus shows and podcasts and road, plus family. There hasn't been a lot of time for stand-up in the last couple of years. But
I can see that.
I'm actually, I was just talking to Colin about that. It's like I got to get back to I don't write on the road. I got to write at the clubs. I got to do open mics. Okay. That's why open mics are so important. Those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sundays.
Tuesday here at Acme.
Vital.
Yep.
That's why you see Chris and Colin and Seinfeld and Louis Wednesday night doing shows, doing 10, 15-minute sets, working on shit, and there's no way around it. So I think I'm going to get back to that, come up with a new hour in the next year, and probably hopefully film it at the end of the year. And I know where I'm going to film it. I'm going to film it at the Comedy Connection in Rhode Island.
Okay.
Because I've never filmed a special in my home, Rhode Island is as close as I'll get to my hometown, Boston.
Okay.
I've done Tampa, which I love. I've done the Cellar. I was the first comic to film a special at the Comedy Cellar.
That's right.
So I was, everybody was going big back in the day.
Adrian Appalucci just recorded one there, right?
Yep. Yeah. Everybody was doing theaters. That was the thing. Theaters, comedy, the Comedy Network, whatever the fuck was that called? It's gone now. What is that called? Comedy. What the fuck was that called?
Dynamics?
No.
That's still around.
No, the Comedy Channel. What was that?
Oh, Comedy Central?
Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Them and everybody else. Theaters, you got to do it's got to look, epic. It's got to look like you play theater. I'm like, I don't. I love clubs. I'm a club comic.
Yeah.
And I literally turned down an offer from Comedy Dynamics, set to go. We were, and I walked away from it. We were ready to shoot my special, and I walked away because they wanted it in a theater.
Okay.
I was like, nope. And I went to my manager. I was like, dude, I'm not doing it. I won't do it. And we did it at the Cellar. And that was the first one that we did at a small club. Second one, same thing. I want to do it in Tampa, but I want it to be unique. Because I really feel like specials, the place you do it in is part of your special.
Sure.
It's you in that place.
Yeah, I've heard you describe the one in Tampa and all the setup.
Yeah, like I remember Zach Galifianakis at the Purple Onion.
Yes.
That's a fucking special.
Legendary.
The Purple Onion is part of it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? It's like, wow, I want to see that. I want to see the place he did it in.
Yeah.
And now it seems like people are just doing specials wherever. Just throwing a camera up, throwing it on YouTube.
Yeah.
My special is out. It's like, is it special?
Yeah. Well, that word has some different meaning now than it used to. Certainly.
Yeah, it's like, did you really? Yeah. Did you really? Is this what you wanted? You know what I mean? Is this where you wanted to do it? Was this your dream? You know what I mean? Or did you throw a camera up and film this set?
Sometimes convenience makes you settle on good enough, right?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think you should.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think you should.
I want to wrap this up with a completely unrelated question.
Yes.
I know that you've talked about you grew up at some point in a house with your grandparents or grandfather, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. All 13 of us lived in my grandparents' house.
That's what I want to get to.
Yeah.
13 people in one house.
In a 3-bedroom, yeah.
In a 3-bedroom. How many bathrooms were in this?
One.
No.
One.
How? I have a wife,
Yeah.
18-year-old daughter, and 5-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
So they're all using bathrooms in my house.
Yep.
If we had to fucking share,
Yeah.
just with me and 3 other girls,
5 uncles.
I would move out.
Yeah, my grandfather, my grandmother, 5 uncles, 2 aunts, my sister, me, my mother, and my great grandmother. With one, I remember if you opened the medicine cabinet, it was just toothbrushes with, that thing you used to punch and stick with just our names on it. They still have it there too.
They still have the house?
Yeah, no, this house, my uncle lives in it.
Oh, that's
yeah, he
awesome.
bought it off everybody after they died. Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's
Dude, I mean,
we later
what, did you fucking squeeze your shits out? I mean,
later in life, when my grandparents were older, they couldn't go up the stairs, so they made the downstairs closet literally a fucking closet into a toilet. So it used to be a coat closet, now has a shitter in it downstairs. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know how we did it. Me and my mother slept on a twin mattress on the floor with my uncle over here next to a weight bench, my other uncle over here. My Uncle Tommy slept on the sun porch, which was nuts because it wasn't even insulated.
I was going to say.
Yeah, and then
my
other 2 uncles lived in the basement. My other uncles lived in the basement. My Aunt Dottie and Aunt Peggy shared a bed. And then my great-grandmother lived in a closet. It was just a closet with a bed in it. And my grandparents lived in their room. And it was the best time of my life. It was the best time of my life, because after that, we went to, we got our own house, and I remember walking in to my own room, and I remember she married this guy who was abusive physically and mentally. Didn't know it at the time, but I remember walking in to my room, and they had a toy box full of toys and a desk with all kinds of pencils and pens, and and there was a light fixture. It looked like a flying saucer, and I was like, is that mine? And like, yeah, this is your room. I go, that light is mine? I just remember flicking the light on and off. Like, I can do this. I can have whatever. I do this whenever. She's like, that's your light. And then it all went south, And then he started hitting us, and my life got fucking twisted from there. And then we went into kind of 5
Probably
years.
started hiding in the bathroom at that point.
Well, we're 5 years later, we went to my, a 2-bedroom. My mother slept on the floor in the living room, and that was her bedroom, and all that shit. And then I, wound up getting arrested and going to jail and rehab. Spent most of my 10 to 15 just fucking. I was homeless for a while, So, when I bought my first house for my kid, I got him the light. I got this sick light. This looked, just what I remember. I remember I got it, and I painted his wall. I did all that stuff for him that I had, that moment of just wow.
That's awesome.
And we just bought a new house, and I got him his own shower, his own bathroom downstairs with all that stuff. My shower, and it's very important to me, my wife knows this, I have a walk-in shower that's 7 feet by 5 feet. Because I remember, and I have 5 shower heads.
Jesus, dude.
The shower head that I got is illegal in New York. I had to ship it to New Hampshire.
Oh, because of the too much water being used.
So, I mean, dude, I mean, it's the bathroom is important. My wife, I'm explaining to her, listen, I lived in a house with 13 people. Yeah. We shared a little tiny shower and one toilet. I remember just holding in shits, almost crying.
Right.
While my uncle was just laughing, taking a shit. I remember sitting on a warm toilet seat. You know what I mean? From
Every time, probably.
From my great grandmother. I go, I never going back there.
And they always kind of leave a little bit of smell.
Blah. Yeah. Smells like a fucking closet with shit in it. Like a wet rug. But yeah, so my bathrooms now is, you don't have to fuck around now.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Oh, that's awesome. Well, can we do this again in quicker than 7 years, hopefully, huh?
Look at man, when they call, I come.
Sounds good.
It's Field of Dreams with this club.
Here we go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you ask, I will come.
Perfect.
You know what I mean? I mean, I've never said no.
Yeah. Don't start now.
No, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah. So this will be out today. People need to come to the shows. There's still some tickets left.
Yeah, get your asses down here. I got a few new jokes, a couple shaky ones. I mean, I just got back from working with Bobby Lee, Yamanika, and Jim Norton. I'm a little fucked up, but I mean, fucking whoa. That's who you want to take into the woods for 5 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So.
Oh wow.
There you go.
Hope we get to see that someday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. Good to see you, man.
You too. Thank you.